Yo, what the hell is up? Welcome back to Reviews with Jake. So if you're following the Reviews with Jake Instagram handle, which is right here, check it out, you may have seen a new thing I've been trying to do, which is post a story earlier on in the week to give you a heads up and preview of a movie that I'm going to be reviewing later on that week. If you had seen the most recent preview story that I posted, you would know that my original movie for this weekend was The Gentleman. As you can probably tell from the title of this review, as I am a commenter just like you, and I don't get special screenings or any of that hoopla, my local theater did not pick up The Gentleman this weekend, and was more like,
"No, you will watch another bad horror film this January."
But I kinda wanna see The Gentleman.
"No, you will watch another bad horror film this January."
It doesn't look very good.
"I know, that's because you must watch another bad horror film this January."
I really did not want to see this movie. It did not look good. I mean, Finn Wolfhard banging on drums? Oh my god. And then the anchor scare in the trailer, like this is like the one that's gonna reel you in every horror movie trailer you've ever seen, was basically the Addams Family thing hand crawling all over Mackenzie Davis. Like, I straight up laughed when I saw that trailer. Like, nothing about this looked scary. It looked terrible. I did not want to see this movie, and I went in with a belly full of disdain. However, throughout most of the film, I was actually pretty surprised. This movie was actually decently helmed. It was well directed, and the director... I'm not even going to try and say this one, sorry. Here's her name. When looking through her IMDb page, she actually has some pretty respectable things under her belt. Some Daredevil, Handmaid's Tale, American Gods, a handful of music videos, and really it shows. This movie had a lot of style to it. The cinematography was great. I actually really enjoyed it. The lighting, the set design, the location, this gothic old mansion was just astounding to look at. The soundtrack was an interesting choice. It was a little weird, but I commend it for being an interesting soundtrack. They tried to do something different, and I applaud that. And she was able to get quite a bit out of the actors, all of which were pretty decent. Kind of hit and miss here and there, but in general, I would say it was a decently acted film. Unfortunately, when also looking through her IMDb, she didn't really have much for horror under her belt, and that kind of showed. She didn't really have much of a hand in orchestrating scares and how to effectively execute them. It was a well-directed film, just the horror wasn't really well made. The scares were so close together and it would build it up, but there wasn't really enough time to effectively build up between each scare, and the crescendos just weren't there. Not only was the pacing between the scares iffy, but the pacing within the narrative was also pretty eh. And that just kind of sums up the movie itself. Like, the narrative was just all over the place, and it was just super bizarre. Now, that may have been by design because this movie was based upon a book called The Turn of the Screw. Now, I've never read this story before, but I understand the themes enough to know why it is a literary piece that is studied to this day. I'm not going to get into specifics because that gets into spoiler territory for the film, but it just seemed as if they were trying to get this main theme that the book had and try and adapt it to film, and it just didn't exactly work here. And it especially bleeds through at the end, because this ending, like the last 15 minutes or so, and all of a sudden I'm just like, what? Seriously, I don't know if this film just had portions that were left on the cutting room floor, like deleted scenes, like a whole nother movie as to why this ending happened the way that it did. I don't even know if I can even call it an ending. I mean, I guess by definition it's an ending because that's where the movie ended, but it just didn't conclude anything. Like, there had to be more film somewhere because this just didn't make any sense. Horror film endings are a thing. Like, people talk about it. Like, no one knows how to end a horror film, but this is not how it's done. All in all, I humored this movie up until the ending, but right when that happened, I was like, nope. I'm gonna give The Turning a D+. Another D-range movie in January. God! February cannot get here soon enough. But that's just me. What do you guys think? Let me know if you agree or disagree in the comments below. And make sure you're subscribed to this channel to stay up to date on new reviews coming real soon. Thanks for checking in.